All right, thank you. I will start again. My name is Nana John, and I happen to be the co-founder and CEO of RAD5 Tech Hub. We want to say a very big thank you once again for believing in us. We do not take this for granted. We do understand the importance when it means believing in someone to help you on a journey. It means that you are trusting that person not to take you astray. So we do not take it for granted. And at this juncture, we say thank you. Like earlier mentioned in our emails, it is something that we do not take for granted. For you to be on this call means that we are able to scout through over 40 applicants, and we saw it fit that you are joining this program. So for which you have made that decision means that we also believe in you and your ability, and trust that you would be able to achieve this journey with us. That is why we must have selected you to join us in this cohort. With that said, I would want us to do an introduction of everyone who is here. Just like I have made my own introduction, I've given my name and where I work. So I would appreciate that each and every one of us here in just within 1 minute, tell us your name and your stack, or possibly the venture you're working with in the cohort, if any. So we'll start with, okay, my colleague is on the call. I don't know if he will do his introduction later. So I'll jump into Chidima. Please introduce yourself. I'm going alphabetically. So after Chidima, Ezoke Tochukwu. After that, Mr. George. After that, Trust and Peter last. Let's go ahead. Unmute yourself and introduce.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Chidima. I'm a digital marketer. Thank you for having me.
Tochukwu, over to you, please. Is Mr. Tochukwu? Okay, we lost him. George, over to you.
All right. Good day, everyone. My name is George. I'm a cloud architect and DevOps engineer. I currently work as program assistant with Google Scholarship Program for Africa. And I'm also working with Oledepa Farms, a startup too, and also a freelance Flask developer.
Welcome, thank you. Promise. I promise, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Sorry, yeah, I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Promise Amade. I'm a Flipkart developer. I have a startup called My Flight, which is a travel booking startup.
All right, thank you.
That's all.
Mr. Trust. Sorry, Trust, we didn't get that. We didn't get that.
You can hear me now, I guess. All right, my name is Trust Silver.
All right, I think we picked your name, and the other portfolio we didn't hear that clearly. Okay, Tochukwu, I don't tend to see a mic on your profile, and Peter, if you can hear me and you can talk, would appreciate you do that. Else, I think you need to look at your mic. In name from Peter Young, can you hear me? All right, it seems the two of them don't. Okay, Tochku, go ahead if you are up now. Tochku, can't hear you. All right. Maybe when you can use the chat section to introduce yourself. We can't hear you. Mr. Peter too. You can use the chat section to introduce yourself too. We can't hear you. All right. At this juncture, I want to now proceed. I think all introduction has been done. On this call with me is Mr. Igwe. Mr. Igwe, are you available? Can you do an introduction?
Hello everyone.
Hi, we can hear you.
Hello. All right. My name is Igwe. I am the co-founder of RAD5 Tech Hub, and it's a pleasure being here. So good to have all of you here. Let's have fun.
Oh, I'm on mute. Sorry, and I've been talking. I believe my screen is being seen, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh, forgive me. I never knew I was on mute, and I was talking and asking for confirmation from the audience. All right. So I'm going to walk us through a few slides so that we understand what we are up for. And by the end of this section, it will give us an understanding of what we are doing and how we intend to achieve it. Then at the end, I will expect questions from every one of us, and that would set the flight flying, and ability to see what we'll be able to achieve as as a team or as individual ventures. All right, welcome to our RAD5 Startup Club. And this is the first cohort. As a matter of fact, every one of us who happens to be in this cohort happens to be the flagship. We happen to be in this flagship. Why? Because this is the first time we are setting up this club, and this cohort is the very first set of persons that we are accepting into the cohort as a startup club program. So it will be it's nice to all have us here. It's nice to all have us here, and we do not for any moment take it for granted. So I will give you an overview of why RAD5 Startup Club and what's brought about it. I used to be a very good innovator or developer, meshed together those days in my high school program in Abia State Polytechnic. And right from 2012, we've been building innovative products. That was when we built our first product that we call MarketCity.biz, an e-commerce platform that was meant to help businesses in about to go online and promote their product. As of 2012, we had good traction, like about 50 businesses came on the platform. But within a year, we were not able to scale that platform. It failed, both as a result of inexperienced team when it comes to technology, inexperienced team when it comes to business. And this raised a big issue for us, for me and my friend, who we happened to be co-founders then. After it failed, we went on and we built another product that we called the Me Explorer, Media Entertainment Explorer, an app that could help you to explore your tourist center across Nigeria. It won a national competition at the IDI Incubation Center for 48 hours hackathon, where it's, I think even if you Google it now, you can still see that we came fifth nationwide. But after that section, it failed. It failed because we were unable to actually launch it out on the platform. This has been a problem that graduates or individuals in Aba has been experiencing, especially from the institution of Abia State Polytechnic. When I happened to meet my co-founder, who happens to be on this call, he had his own experience to building a social platform to connect young persons, especially in the academic world, like a social media, like the Facebook you already have, as of 2012, 2013. With much energy, he has spoken with a lot of telecoms to see that he launches this platform. And up to date, I think he has even lost the source code. So this is a big problem that we identified, that people in a region like Southeast or in Aba tend not to have a platform where they can really grow and scale. That's the reason why we started RAD5 StartupClub initially. So the club now happens to be a program where we empower entrepreneurs and innovators like me, like my co-founder, who has experienced failure when it comes to building a successful startup as a result of lack of support. We tend to support entrepreneurs and innovators where we accelerate innovation and enhance collaboration within the firm. So this is the objective of RAD5 Startup Club. So just like the name implies, a startup club is a place where you tend to come to find all the resources you need to build a successful business, at least to get your idea converted to a product and be able to validate your product in the markets. That is an insight of what the Startup Club is all about. Because RAD5 has a vision to become a global community of both entrepreneurs, innovators, developers, and so on and so forth, so that anyone who wants to build an innovation can just come into the community, can come into the club and find all the resources he or she needs to scale. So that is what we are doing at the club. So what then is the problem we want to solve? If you want to build a successful business, I believe that most of us who happens to be a developer here would want to start an innovation. Yes, I have an idea, I can build it, but I don't have the manpower to say that I want to sell these products. So we identify that unlike an entrepreneur, entrepreneurs find it hard to make decisions. Like, I do not have access to funding. How can I be able to build a product? Is a challenge. And I bet you, I know a number of persons who keep waiting for when they get the funding to build their products. We also have the issues like my team is incomplete, and for that reason, I can't build a successful venture. Or they feel so lonely, they start within 1 year, and after 1 year, you don't see them again talking about their product. These are the three major problems that we have been able to identify that we want to help. And the way we want to help achieve that is, just like I've given you the mission of RAD5, we want to see that every resources that you have is in-house, ranging from the team to assessing basic support like fund, like business support, workspace, and so on and so forth, right? We want to be able to position in a way by which this can help you achieve what you want to achieve in a program called Startup Club, where we provide a lifetime support and program for entrepreneurs from your idea to exits. So it is not like an incubation program. I want to draw a line here just for emphasis purposes. Incubation program happens and you hear we want to do an incubation program and it is for 6 months, it's for 12 months. And after that, you are done with that incubation program, right? If it's an acceleration program, you already have a traction, you have already grown, and a hub wants to help you in an acceleration program, which is almost time bound to maybe 6 months, maybe 12 months, and that is all. So unlike this program, what we are providing is a lifetime support. That is to say, we are the kind of firm or incubation per se, but it is best known as venture studio, that believes in you as an entrepreneur, not only on your idea or your product. We believe in you as an entrepreneur, that you are going to be able to work on your idea to exit, right? So what we now do is to bring you in as a person, not as a startup, because if we are to bring you as a startup, we need to know your traction, we need to know how far you've gone, and so on and so forth. But we bring you in as a person and your team as individuals. We work with you, believing that you have all the manpower, you have all the skills, you have the ambition, you have the goal to make your product scale. So we bring you in and we work with you from your idea stage, help you to build an MVP, help you to go into the market, help you to validate, adjust what you have, go back to the market to a point where you are able to get a product fit and market fit. Then at that point, we can now start helping you talk about raising fund if your decision is to raise fund or to help you to grow faster. So that is what we are doing at the club, and you have access to experienced person just like as I am. Your team might not be so experienced when it comes to technology, so we are there to provide you with the experience that you need. You might not be experienced with your growth strategy or go-to-market strategy. We are there to help you. You want to test what you have built, and you need a large pool of users to test it. RAD5 has that audience that can easily push out, and people would volunteer to test the product, and so on and so forth. So that is what we are providing, and we do that for an equity where we believe that any venture that we work with within 5 to 7 years should be able to exit, right? So that is our model. I had already mentioned the participants that we are looking out for includes creatives or innovators, people who are innovative, people who can sit down and innovate around the product. We also look out for people like, or the entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs are persons who are there to execute, right? We have the software engineers, which includes both the front end, back end, cloud, name them, app developers that are able to build an MVP. And we have the business developers, who happens to be those who would sit to market you on the internet. So these are the 4 major persons that are participants of the club. We also have one set of individuals that is not mentioned here, who happens to do the financiers. Financiers are those who are willing to put in a little financial support to see that your idea is validated in the market. We also have them. We purposely did not put them here, but there are some set of persons who have already indicated interest to join a team to provide them with not your salary money, but they provide you with the support that can help you to either validate your product in the market and innovate around what you are doing. So that is the other set of persons that are also participants here. Okay, our progress has been interesting. We received over 40 applications, like I keep mentioning in my email I sent to you, over 40 applications within 2 weeks. So that's to say that if we had opened these quite longer, we would have had more than that. But we had over 40 applications, and out of those 40, we were able to filter it down to the number that we are in on this call, which is about 15. And 15 of us in this call happens to be persons that we believe that we can be able to support. I would not want to dive deep into the criteria of selection, but let us know that this cohort is in batches. So that is to say that those that were not accepted are still on the wait list. That if tomorrow we are able to have an opportunity to bring them in again, they can still come in. But those of them in this call are those that we know that even if they don't have fund per se, they can still be able to build their product. Reason because although we as a studio look out to provide venture fund, we are not, we don't have that resource at the moment. So we have selected based on those who are willing to work on their idea with their savings, their time, and already have something working, right? That is the criteria for selection. And the selection happened within the month of February, and the cohort is starting today officially. This is our progress so far. And why did we set up this? I won't do much here. More entrepreneurs to support. I bet you, I believe you, even you as a developer, you keep seeing persons who are coming to you that I have an idea I want to work on. So we still have a lot of them out there to help. We still have a lot of ideas and innovation to push into the market. Nigerians' problem has never ended. It is still untapped. I keep telling people that Nigeria is still a virgin land. Talk more of when we are talking about Southeast. Southeast is a region where you have a lot of resources at your disposal to use to validate what you want to build. So there are a lot of products to go to the market. Ideas will keep pumping up. Ideas will keep coming up. Just like a YC Combinator founder would say that human's problem never comes to end, right? It's only the innovation that changes. So human's problem remains there. It must keep coming. So ideas will keep coming, either with change of model, change of technology, and so on and so forth. And most importantly, we are doing this because we want to make the world a better place. So here is why we think that the club is good for you. Why the number one might not apply to most of us on this call. Any idea that is in the club, that sprung from the hub, we own control over it and ownership. So that is to say that the failure rate is quite low. And for those of them that came to us, we are there to help you, to see that you don't make wrong decisions, to see that your product actually goes out to the market as fast as possible. That is the only way you can be able to know if your idea can grow or not, right? So I want to also emphasize, let us not be scared of failure. Let us not be scared of failure. I would use myself as an instance. I've used myself as an instance. I'll keep using it. We have built Choya, for example. Let me give an instance. We totally spent months building a full-fledged e-commerce platform, and we launched. Eventually, it was not what the market needed. We had to crash it and start afresh. So understand that this is a journey. Understand that building a product and going to the market and users turn it down does not mean that that is the end. You need to go back and get back to your work. So that is why we are here. Equity Stack for entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs that came with their team would advise them. They already have their structure in place. But if you don't, we also help you to understand how the equity stake comes in. Those of them that are developers or software support also has equity stake available. So this is automatically you becoming a co-founder in any startup that you happen to work with. Shared resources, I've already mentioned that everyone has access to shared resources. So for example, RAD5 automatically through one of our ventures has a premium Zoom account. So you don't need to come as a startup to start purchasing premium license for Zoom. For example, resources could, the hub has partnership with some tech platform and community all across the globe. So you don't need to go start purchasing for that and so on and so forth. So these are opportunities. I will still mention more about them when I come to the perks and what we have for you. Our resources are quite large. As a matter of fact, we have not been able to exhaust them and utilize it. So I expect every participant of this startup club to begin to leverage what we have. We have a lot of them. When it comes to manpower, technical manpower, RAD5 happens to be the leading organization per se for Google Developers Group in Aba. I'll put most of them on this call. We pioneered the ALC, we pioneered it and so on and so forth. So if you need access to specific talents, technical talents, I believe that we have access to that. If you are talking about mentorship, just mention what you need mentorship on, and if we don't have it, we have access to that through the clusters of hubs in Nigeria, through the clusters of hubs in Africa, which happens to be part of the partners of this startup club program, that is AfriLab, and so on and so forth. When it comes to external support, we have access to the AWS credit. So I don't believe any startup here should have an issue deploying a product and testing it at no cost, right? And some other support that we might not be able to have captured here. So if you need anything, just mention. I would know that if it's in our power to provide you with that. Okay, the team here happens to be myself. While I have more of the technical expertise and also the administrative expertise, Ogwigwe, my co-founder, happens to be more of the innovation and the business development sector. So it's for you to know whom to direct your question to when need be, or if not directly to the hub, you can do that directly to individuals here. So if you are seeking for technical experiences, I think I will be the very best person that you channel that question to. or anything around administrative structure, I'll be the best person to answer your question. But when it comes to business development, your growth strategy, while I can still provide you with the answer, Igor would be the best person to provide you with such insights. All right, this is how you can contact us. Our office at number 7 Factory on the 3rd floor. This is our official number in the sense that that's the business line. You can also actually just either via call or WhatsApp message. And that is our website. In case you want to show credibility to anybody who is asking you about the club you are joining and whatsoever question around the hub, the website is the best place to provide you with the answer. If you want to send us an email, it's admin@rad5.com.ng or info@rad5.com.ng. Any of them is accessible. Then across these 4 social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter, search for us at one username all across the platform, RAD5 Tech Hub, you'll find us. All right, that is a summary of what the Startup Club is all about. So before I open up for questions, I want to run down through the ventures that we are going to be supporting in this cohort and the expectations from this program. So that is what I would be doing at this point in time. All right. Sorry, a moment. A moment. All right, the ventures. So most of us must have seen persons you might have known on the call. Most of you might have seen people you don't know, but we want to use this juncture to provide you with the ventures that we are going to be supporting, of which is good that we all know them. It's good that we all know them so that you would know what we are doing. Sorry, a moment, I want to get something. All right. So in no particular order, these are the ventures that we'll be working with in this cohort. The first one is Choya, and Choya is helping small businesses and innovating around the way that you can collect, innovating around the way by which users or businesses can collect word of mouth marketing, innovating around that, how helping buyers or shoppers to save extra dollar in all their shopping. And Skill Suite is a software company focused on the academic industry, where they are looking at helping build innovative products for secondary school and primary schools, innovating their learning, innovating around the administrations, around their learning programs, right? That is Skill Suite. Mayvibe is helping young artists to be found, to be heard, and why they help them generate revenue. So if you know of any young artist who is still upcoming, Mayvibe is the best place. We have Bicam. Bicam is innovating around ways by which you can, innovating around knowledge commerce, the way by which you can learn on the go, and so on and so forth. While we proceed, each of them will still give an overview of what they do. So everyone in this program should learn and know more about them. So we have My Flight. So My Flight is focused on travels. So all of us on this course should know now that we have a venture that can help you plan your travel. So if you want to travel out of Aba, if you want to travel out of the country or interstate or intercity, know that there is a venture within the hub that we believe that we can help them achieve their great feat of planning when it comes to travels. Then one other one which we might not be able to give a name for now, but is around fintech. So these are the 6 ventures that we'll be working with in this cohort. What then are the expectations of every one of us who are in this call? we clearly stated this on the call for application. We stated this on the call for application, and we also kept emphasizing it on our emails. You must be available to work on your idea for at least 8 months. This is not to pin you down, but this is just to tell you that for you to be successful, you need to work on your idea. Why? Within these 6 months, you might not have even gotten your best product fit, but we don't expect that to happen. But all we are trying to say is that for you to be in this program, you should be available to work on either a venture or work with a venture which you have been assigned with for at least 8 months. So within these 8 months, we expect you to have built your MVP, gone into the market, collect feedback, improve it, and so on and so forth. So that is what we expect from each of the participants within 8 months. The next thing is that all of us here has to be open-minded, especially those who are tech inclined or the per se the pioneer of the innovation. Please be open-minded. What you know or what you saw or what you think is the best actually might not be the best. Ideas are not fully formed. Ideas are not fully formed. Even Mark Zuckerberg, while he was addressing a few graduates, he mentioned it, that most of the times you do not even know what you're working on until you get into the market, right? So do not be so tied up with your innovation. I want to build a flying airplane. I want to build a phone that you leave it at home and you be in the office and you talk to it and it's talking with you. You have to be open-minded that that is not what people might accept. People might you might get into the market and it is totally what they don't need. So you have to be open-minded to accept the fact that this is not what is obtainable and be able to innovate around it. Don't be super excited about your idea. It can always disappoint you. Also, you must be available to attend weekly meetings or monthly meetings, or as the time might be based on the schedules that will be shared with us. All of your teammates, all of the participants of the club should be able to check in when we have meetings. And for entrepreneurs who are joining or who must have already formed joining us, be sure that you have to give away equity. Like mentioned, one of our model is that all entrepreneurs and innovators are part of the business of venture. So be willing to give away equity based on the structure, starting with the hub and possible co-founders that might be assigned to you. Then as time proceeds, we can now talk more about external investors if need be. All right. The last thing I want to treat before I open up for questions, I hope all of us have been taking notes and taking note of your questions if there are any. What's accessible for you at the moment? Why this might not be an exhaustive list, but at the moment, this is what is available. Why the hub continues to seek out for partnerships, discussions that can provide more support to each of our ventures. This is what we have at the moment. The hub is an AWS Activate partner. That means that we have up to 6,500 worth of AWS credit, where $5,000 is for the credit and $1,500 is for the business support. So that is to say you have access to business support while using this credit for the next 2 years. So within these 2 years, we expect you to use this worth of credit to validate what you want, what you have, and become revenue generating venture. Anyway, nevertheless, we can still upgrade this to about $10,000. But for now, this is what is available, like we mentioned. We still have partnership to extend it to a $10,000 or $15,000 worth of AWS credit. But for now, just know that we are working with $6,500. As also hotspot startup program partners, you can be able to access up to 90% discount when you are going for premium. But for now, you can use a free version. As a matter of fact, that is what is advised. Each and every one of us here would be able to use a free version. But when we are ready to upgrade to premium, you have a discount applied to you because you are coming through us as a partner. Then you have access to team members and co-founders. I've already mentioned that. So you being in this program also gives you a free access to workspace at 7 Factory Road, 3rd floor. So you automatically have access to free workspace where we can be able to boast about 7 hours supply of steady light and where you can work from. Then we also have access to, you also have access to training resources. Training resources are so vast, it's so many. So that's why we said you must be open to learn. We have a lot of training resources that we would be sharing with you as a team, as a venture, as an individual. And most importantly, we anticipate to make you investment ready before the time comes, so that you'll be able to stand in front of any venture, any investment, or any investor rather, or investment firm, to be able to talk about what you're doing, talk about your traction, and be able to win them to your side. You also have access to one-on-one mentorship from industry experts. If you think you have an individual who is in the industry that you want to speak with, and you think you don't have the ability to connect with that person, I think it's something that you can just talk to the hub, and the hub will try to make that happen for you. You also have access to funding opportunities. While we are not providing with the fund, but we have the network of funders who are waiting to see your products live and ready for investment. So that is why we say that we want to make you investment ready. So when you're ready to start receiving funding, you can be able to request for that, right? So you also have access to legal advices. The hub is working on having a partnership with a legal firm, which will be able to provide you with a possible free service for a start. But if you subscribe to the service, you should be able to pay them later. But that terms will be clearly stated later as you progress. So you have access to legal advice through our legal partner, and also access to potential partners. So if we as a hub would actually look into what you are doing and know possible potential partners that you can partner with, would help you in that conversation. The essence of also this is, there are conversations that would be a bit tough for you to seal, but by the time you mention RAD5 in the communication, or copy us in a correspondence, we can be able to follow up in that conversation. It makes things quite easier, right? So for example, you want to have access to one hub or per se in Lagos, and you want to get access to them, we, on me personally being that conversation, could make the conversation smoother and faster. So that is where access to potential partners can still work, and anyone that we think is quite fit for you will establish that for you. So I think these are a few things that are worth noting, and we have provided you with all the information. The next thing we have now happens to be questions. So if you have a question, kindly raise up your hand, and I would ask you to unmute. I think I'm already having some chat here. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. I think now we have questions. The floor is open. If you have a question, please unmute yourself or raise up your hand, ask questions, or you can use the chat section. Whoa. Why the silence? Do we have questions?
Okay, we're trying to, okay, anyway, let me ask one. I saw you showed us ventures. So can you just please explain the relationship between us and those ventures?
All right, thank you for that question, Mr. George. So I would want to clearly emphasize too that there are some persons here not attached to any ventures yet, and which is somebody like Mr. George, who happens to be a cloud engineer, and a few other app developers, and so forth. All right, so each and every one of us here would be assigned to a venture. Like stated in the email, we will be assigned to a venture where we'll be working with, if there is anyone available. But if there is none, we'll make that happen. So for Mr. George, I don't want to mention them, I know they know themselves. Those of them who are software we accepted into the program as a software engineer, know that you will be assigned to a venture that you'll be working with, of which certainly one of it would be this one with a question mark. So as at when you would let you know about that. I don't know if I answered your question.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Thank you. So I would want to emphasize too, some of the ventures here happen not to be per se through the Startup Club application, right? Like the School Suite, like Choya, like Mayvibe. These have already been an existing venture we're working with. So we just decided to merge them into this program, right? Like I mentioned that this is a flagship, or the first time we are doing this program. So we just decided to bring them in as part of the ventures that we are working with, so that you really understand that. That's just what I wanted to do an emphasis on. All right, any other questions, please unmute yourself and you ask questions, or you use the chat section. Okay, should I take that as no further questions? I think we are within our time, so we still have about 15 minutes left. Any other questions?
Yeah, let me ask. I see the expectations. I see they say the first one that says you must be available to work on your idea for at least 8 months. Okay. Is that binding?
All right, so it is clearly binding in the sense that you can't say that you want to build a product and not be able to work at least 8 months on it. If it's a product that is still in an idea, so let's say you take 2 months trying to validate build an MVP, and you launch it out, and within 1 month you're able to get a feedback, you upgrade it, you work on it again. So before you could know it, 6 months is already out of it. So for anyone who is joining this program must be willing to work on the product like at least 8 months to know that the product has already gone into the market. Then let it now be that within that 7 months, 8 months, you are now looking out for adding more team members to your team that can be able to help you. But for a start, every founder should be willing to work on their idea for about 8 months.
Okay. Thank you. Another question. I see you say don't be super excited about your idea. Why do you say that?
All right. I emphasize that specifically. Personally, I used to be very excited about my idea, in the sense that I want to build a product that would take someone from Abad to UK without entering an airplane, right? And I'm so excited about it. This is the technology I built, and I'll keep working on the technology. Even when users will tell me that I will not use that product, I prefer entering a flight, right? But because I am so excited about my innovation, because I'm so excited about what I'm building, I'm so rigid to open up, even when users are telling me I don't want to work on this. I don't want to become Bini fellow that would jump from Abad to UK. I want to take an air flight, right? So someone who is super excited about his idea will not want to understand that a user's feedback is, I want to enter an airplane. I want to enter an airplane. So I think, I don't know if that answers your question. So we need to all be open-minded that when you get into the market, or when we are in this program, there's a possibility that what you have in mind as an innovation is not what the market needs, and you should be able to tweak it.
Okay, I see. I get it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It seems it's only Mr. George that is in this call and asking questions. All right, I think we don't have any other questions. So I think we don't have any other questions. I would want to end my screen now, and let me check what I have here. All right. So since we don't have,
Hello.
okay, Promise, go ahead.
Okay, I want to ask something. The next question I want to ask, after this section, what will be the next line of action? Like, what's the next plan or timetable for us to follow to
All
know
right.
what is going on?
All right, thank you. That was the next thing I was going to move over to. All right, so since that your question went to that area, I would want to now provide an answer to that. So moving forward from now, we would receive every other correspondence via email, and the way forward, we're already all in a WhatsApp group. So if you're not in a WhatsApp group, if your team member is not on that WhatsApp group, please do well to share them the invite link. Why we would be communicating directly with the leaders or the CEO, we also want the team to be part of it. So we would send out emails to each of the ventures, number one, on which way to go. Then number two, we expect every venture here to send us their current milestone. Let me use that word, milestone. So if you already have a pitch deck, that would be appreciated. Just send it in. But if you don't, send in a one-pager document stating what you are doing, what you have been doing, your team member, or the current challenge that you are facing right now, So just give us a one-pager document of what you are, or what you are doing, what you have been doing, your traction, and the challenge you are facing currently. So we expect the BCAM team, we expect the my flights team. Okay, the other one is not known yet, but we expect this set of persons to send in their one-pager document, so that while we are still sending out the emails within the week, we would also know which way to follow. But every other correspondence and action plan will be sent via email. So do well to always look out for email from us. Although we would also try to, once we send an email, we also forward it to the WhatsApp group for faster communication too. Does that answer your question, Mr. Promise?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we still have a few minutes left for any other questions. If there is no other question, I would want to ask if Mr. Igwe has any comments to make.
All right, thank you, Nana. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank my flight for making it into the RAD5 Startup Club flagship cohort. I want to officially welcome you guys to this journey. And I want to say this is not a program. This is actually a journey, and it's going to be a long one. So I wouldn't want us to see this as a program. And the most important thing for us moving forward is for us to build great products. And this great product is going to be getting out to the market where the hard work is being done. So the biggest asset you have is going to be working with people, right? That is going to be the biggest asset that you are going to have as a startup. Working with people, seeing other persons who are working, and seeing how they are progressing and how they are hitting their own targets and their own goals. That will be the biggest inspiration that you have for you to also work hard. Yes, there are a lot of assets for you to maximize, but I bet you this is going to be the biggest inspiration you have. So watch closely what other persons are doing and let them be the inspiration that you have. So this is going to be friendly, this is going to be fun, And I will also be very much open to work with everyone who is here to share the progress of what we are doing at Choya, to also be an inspiration to everyone here. I also look forward to see what Bigcamp is doing, what my flight is doing, so you can also be an inspiration to what we are doing at Choya. So I want us to be open-minded and be flexible around being part of this journey. And I'm glad to have us on this. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Let's have fun doing this together.
All right, thank you, Mr. Igwe. It's really interesting to know about it's so interesting to know and hear about it. So I forgot to mention that area. Please, we are not so mean here. We're a family, please. So let's not see it as if I'm just here talking official and corporate stuff, right? It's fun. We have known most of us all in this call. Only but a few happens to just be new persons to me. But aside that, we are families, guy. Most of them on this call land under me, land under the hub. Most of them, and so on and so forth. So we are families. Just like Mr. said, we are here to help ourselves, right? So by the time this venture is doing well, they can advise this other venture. So that's why it's a community. Remember, we are talking about community. So if Bigcamp finds a tweak to break down how to sell to stubborn Nigerian markets, they can come and they share to my flight how you can achieve this. Or my flight is offering discount, they'll use Bigcamp as a test case study and give them coupons to fly to UK and come back, So we are all families, right? So let's not see this as if it is a so much rigid stuff. What we are just doing is to be sure that one thing we just identified is that we are not getting the practice of startup building in Southeast rightly, right? And that is what we want to mitigate. The truth is that raising $1.1 million, raising $4 billion or $4 million is so easy once you have everything right. And so that is what we want to correct. The Southeast brethren here think it is just you building a product and launching it and that is all. There's a lot to it, which we, myself, Igwe, my colleague, we have learned in a hard way. And we think it is right time for us to really impart this knowledge to young entrepreneurs. And we are just trying to make it small the way we are now. So if we are successful, we can easily open it up. So all of us here will also be part of the story, success story when we succeed. All right, at this juncture, I think I'm done. If there's no other questions, we can call it a day and look out for further communications via email and WhatsApp. Please, let's try to make the WhatsApp group lively. We asked for introduction and most of us read the message and kept quiet. Please, let it not be found among us. We are brethren. Let's make the WhatsApp group lively. Let's make it a friendly place to be. Introduce yourself when you are asked to introduce. Act on an email or a message sent to you when you're meant to. And remember that time waits for no man. So if we give a deadline, work with the deadline. All right. I want to say thank you all who have made, all of you who made it to this call. We look out for awesome things in the next few words. All right. Thank you and do have a lovely day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.